What's going on, everyone? Anthony Cofrancesco from Data Dive, and this is Office Hours. We are back after many weeks of just doing an open Q&A. We're back in the swing of things for real-world office hours. We're going to be continuing this series for the next, I think, 6 weeks, but probably through the end of the year. If you're watching this video on YouTube, feel free to skip ahead. We're going to go through a little bit of an intro while we're waiting for everyone to join. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're thinking, man, I wish I would have joined the class so I could have asked my own questions, feel free to register next time. There's going to be a link down in the description below. We do office hours 3 times a week. And yeah, I won't stall anymore. Let's get into the presentation because we've got a really special session for everyone today. So like I said, we are back in action. This is real world case studies. And today we have a special real world case studies. Like I said, we've been off for a few weeks. We've got Dmytro from SalesByte. He's a Inner Circle member, a longtime friend, and just a really awesome all-around seller. Let me just move this over here so it's not getting these pop-ups. He's an awesome all-around seller. He's been running an agency for a number of years. And Dmytro, you wanna hop on real quick and just quickly introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what's your background in the Amazon FBA industry.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Anthony, for inviting me. So I've been around Amazon since about 2017, but I could say only for the last few years we had really a breakthrough. I'm running a 7-figure brand together with my business partner, Muad, who's also part of the Inner Circle. And at the same time, we help other brands, mainly with Amazon advertising, because that's where my most expertise comes from. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to provide some knowledge today.
Awesome. Okay, and look, so thing you should know about Dmytro is actually based. He's grown up his whole life and is based full time in Ukraine. So this is like a little bit of motivation. Every time I get on a call with him, I like to say like, "Hey man, like how's everything going over there?" And he's going through, normal day-to-day stuff, things that we probably don't think about, probably don't experience. Dmytro has to go through. So if you ever need any motivation as a seller and you're like, man, I don't really want to get up today. I don't want to work. I don't want to put my time into the business. I think Dmytro should be a good motivator for you because any of the things that we're dealing with in our lives probably don't really compare so much to what it would be like living in Ukraine right now. So just going to put that out there. It's always really motivational for me when I talk to him. Now, a few things of intro while we're waiting for everyone to join. If you are not yet using Data Dive, we're going to show Data Dive a lot today. If you're not yet using Data Dive, please book a custom training with one of our sales reps. Each one of these coaches, we call them, they've sold on Amazon. Some of them have exited brands. Some of them are launching new products. They can give you a full product demo. They can give you a free trial to get started. Please get started. You're going to love the software, and we're going to show you a little bit of it today. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of dialogue with Dmytro today. You're certainly going to have questions about his strategy. And so as you have questions, there's going to be 2 ways. You can either raise your hand or you can drop your questions in the chat. And we're going to take all of the questions at the end, but you can feel free to start putting them in the chat as they come up. Now, if you want to become a Data Dive expert, there's 3 different ways that you can learn. We have our knowledge base powered by our AI chatbot. We have our YouTube channel. And then, of course, we do office hours 3 times a week. So if you want to access the knowledge base, these are written guides that explain just about everything about how to use Data Dive. You can see this icon in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and you can navigate directly to the knowledge base, or you can type your question into the chat, and it will find, our AI chatbot will find the most relevant article and often give you the correct answer. I've been working with Scott. He's our CSM here at Data Dive to update all of the articles. We just retrained the AI chatbot for all of the new articles that we've added. So play around with that. We're getting better and better every week, and I think that's a pretty underutilized part of the tool. Now, all of the previous office hours sessions are live on YouTube. If you're catching this on the recording, we're going to try to get this up within 48 hours. And we have this office hours V2 playlist with all of the historical public office hours sessions. We have not put up any of the Q&A sessions. That's not going to change. There's a lot of like personal questions there, a lot of identifiable product information. So we're going to keep it to the core content. All of the future real world case studies will be live within 48 hours of the session. So if you are new to office hours or you're going through that historical library, I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown of the different types of sessions that we have. We started off with the quick start guide. This is kind of essential framework. What are all the different pieces of data dive? What do you need to know to get started? And then after that, we moved on to what we call speed round. So we worked through each of our different workflows, validating products, launching products, optimizing products, and enterprise. And we basically validated 3 products in 30 minutes, launched 3 products in 30 minutes, optimized 3 products in 30 minutes. So it kind of builds on the essentials that we covered in the quick start guide, and it gets into a little bit more detail about strategy and repetition so you can see these workflows over and over again. Where we are now and for the next 6 weeks is going to be real world case studies. So this moves beyond the theory, and it actually shows you real sellers, agencies that are out in the real world implementing the strategies, using data dive, growing their brands, launching products, and that's what we're going to be covering today. So I'm not going to spend too much time going through this overview of workflows, but you can access this recording later. But basically for data dive, there's really 3 main applications of using data dive. You're either validating new product ideas, seeing how risky or not risky they are, coming up with a budget that's going to be required to launch the product, and basically seeing, should I move forward with launching the product? So you'll see a very quick breakdown on the left-hand side of the screen about what this workflow looks like. This is brand new. If you're in office hours, you can actually check out, we have a PDF guide that goes into a lot more detail versus this breakdown here on the left-hand side. So you can scan this QR code. I'll work on getting links out to everyone. We're going to put a page up on the Data Dive website. But this thing walks you through everything. It guides you to the correct videos on how to do each step of the workflow. This is the launch workflow. We don't have a PDF for this yet. We do have an optimization workflow, and this optimization workflow is part 1 of 3, and it focuses on listing, SEO, how do you write your listing. So scan that QR code, and I'll drop the links at the very end of the call for anyone who wants to download part 1 of the workflow. We obviously have an optimization part 2, which gets into a little bit more of PPC. And then we have an enterprise workflow as well, which is more related to if you have dozens and dozens of products and you want to onboard your entire portfolio, you want to set up rank tracking, this workflow will show you how to accomplish that. So I think we've stalled enough. I think everyone who is going to join, well, most people who are going to join live are here. I'm just trying to grab this laptop cable without messing up my whole setup because my laptop is going to die. All right, there we go. So if you've joined real world case studies before, you know that we break it down problem, solution, impact. So let me start off first with the problem. Now, the core problem really isn't so much of a problem, but the situation that we're encountering here is that this is a new product launch. So we're going to talk about the things that are required to have a successful product launch. But then after the product launched, there was a problem where Dmytro and his team came very close, very, very close to running out of stock of a product, actually did run out of stock of the product for a few days. So how do you try to regain your rankings after a very successful launch, though you've run out of stock? So we're going to cover that today. So getting into the problem a little bit more and some things that are related to struggles new sellers face with launching a new product. Number 1 is product development. And the key question being, what features and attributes, how should we structure this product so that this new launch is going to be able to beat the competition? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. On top of that, a problem is we need to create a brand new listing. When you start from scratch, you're not going to have anything. So the key question is, how should the listing be written to optimize and maximize rather organic rank. On top of that, problem is we have to create new content. So the key questions are what main image rather is going to maximize click-through rate, what secondary images, video, and A+ content is going to maximize conversion. On top of that, problem is creating new PPC campaigns. So what is the ideal PPC strategy for launch and then beyond launch? And then as well, as you can see here, we have a pretty good time of launching the product with no rank, getting the ranks up, but then in this time frame around July, running out of stock. So what do you do to recover your organic ranks after running out of stock? So that's the problem. That's setting up the situation. Let's get into the solutions. So I broke down the solution into 5 different parts. What did it look like from a product development standpoint, SEO, content, PPC, and of course, tracking and monitoring metrics after. So let's start first with the solution for product development. So this product really hinged a lot on a strategy of a large number of variations. So what you can see, this is coming straight from Data Dive. The niche median for variations was 13 variations. And you can see we've got the product here with a total of 25 variations. And so this not only helps in terms of customers having more selections and more options in terms of what they want to choose. Obviously, in real world case studies, we don't share always what the product is. So I won't say what the product is, but I will say it is it's something that you eat. And there's a lot of different colors. There's different, not flavors, but there's different colors of the product. And having many options is going to be something that buyers are going to want. But on top of that, part of the success with this launch came not only to the fact that this listing had many different variations to choose from, but also the fact that when this product was launched initially, each of the ASINs were launched as separate listings. And so what that allows you to do is to launch the product as a separate listing, sign the product up for reviews via the Amazon Vine program, and then once those products have accumulated those 30 reviews, merge all of those into one listing. This allows you to get a large number of reviews in a very small amount of time. Now, that was talking about product development. Next, we're going to talk about the listing SEO. So in that first screenshot I was showing you, we showed the Ranking Juice leaderboard, and everything was 31 out of 31. They were in the last possible position. Obviously, there's no listing. Amazon doesn't give you a listing yet when you launch your product. And so what was done here is creating a strong listing, really focusing on strong root coverage, especially in the title. So what you're seeing here is this is the listing Ranking Juice leaderboard, and it's showing overall 1 out of 31, title 1 out of 31. And you'll notice that not as much emphasis from a Ranking Juice perspective is placed on the bullets or description. And that's because a majority of the ranking potential is going to come from the title. So you can see here, this is from another view. We're at the top of the leaderboard, a pretty similar spread to the top competitors, but you can see their listing is actually a pretty significant amount over, 77,000 Ranking Juice higher. This is looking at the view for the roots, usage, and hits. And like I said earlier, a majority of the keywords and exact matches are in the title. That's going to give you the strongest ranking potential and strong root coverage with priority in the title. So we talked about product development. We talked a little bit about the listing SEO. Now let's talk about the content, because I think a big reason for why this product did so well is because the content on the listing is fantastic. Now, we can't share this product with you, so I try to do the best job that I possibly could of explaining verbally what went into the creatives, the main image, secondary images, the A+ content, and the video. So let's start first with the main image. If I'm describing it to you, what you see is not just the product on a white background. Boring, easy to scroll past, not going to encourage a high click-through rate. What we saw is that they had the product plus the packaging, and then they also showed some different props. If you see the video that we had with Daniela, she actually shows some of these images, and what she calls this is eye candy. It's the earlier real world case studies office hour that we did. But then there's also something unique, and this is kind of in a gray area in terms of TOS. There's like a little decal with some text on it. Now, a lot of sellers might be nervous about trying something like this, but the best advice I can give you is try to upload it to Amazon, try to connect the decal to your product so that the Amazon bots can't tell that you're adding an extra decal in there, make it look like it's connected to your product packaging. And if Amazon lets you put this up on your listing and doesn't suppress the image, you're good to go, right? I would encourage you to push that boundary a little bit. There's very little recourse from a negative standpoint that's going to hurt, aside from Amazon suppressing the image. On top of that, I broke down the images in the gallery. There was 8 images in the gallery, and image number 1 was about product safety. Like I said, this is something that you're going to ingest. So people are really curious, hey, if I eat this, is it actually going to be okay to eat? And again, I won't tell you what the product is, but it looks a little strange. So people might be curious if it's safe to eat. On top of that, we have a single feature graphic, which is talking about the product being in use. We have image number 3 talking about the quality of the ingredients. We have image number 4 talking about how to apply this food product, how to apply this product to your food, rather. We have a single feature graphic, which is talking about that this, again, is an edible product. So it's talking about that this is professional, it's food grade, food safe. Image number 6 is talking about all of the different variations. Like I said, there's a lot of color variations of this product. Image number 7 is a lifestyle image talking about the product being in use, or you'll also see in other videos, I talk about this as an applications graphic, so all the different ways that you can use this product. And then we wrap up with a competitor comparison image. I think I want to probably change the order of these slides because I wanted to show this next. If you're in Inner Circle and you've seen my masterclass that I have, Optimum Images, you've seen these matrices before. So on the left-hand side is what we call our main image matrix. Essentially what you would do with this is you look along this matrix and you try to come up with different ideas for your main image. So instead of having just the product on a white background, what's it going to look like if we do product with packaging? Or what's it going to look like if we do product with parts or props? And so some combination of an image in your main image matrix is what's likely going to work for you. You won't know what's going to work until you actually upload it into the listing and test it. So I'd recommend to try a few different options. Let's talk about your main image for a minute, Dmytro. What are your thoughts on, you have a really good main image. I wish we could show it, but I know we can't. What are your thoughts? How did you come up with the concept? And I think you even did some split testing before. Walk us through that main image process.
Yeah. So the imagery, it was like one of the first steps. I mean, the deciding about the main image. And obviously, we studied our niche, what the competitors are doing. And after we already got our final packaging, we started coming up like with the main images. We had the photo shoot, we had the designer, and we started doing Pigful polls. So before the product launch, we probably spent a couple $1,000 just to test not just the main image, but all the other images. But yeah, we made sure our main image was winning in all the polls before we actually launched the product. And about the callouts, yes, if you put like your product's main keywords or any additional information on the properties of your product that might be important, it can be a huge benefit. Now, it's a little bit in the gray area, but a lot of 7 and 8 figure brands are using this strategy. And I think, like Anthony said, the worst that can happen is the image will get suppressed. And when we were uploading these images, Amazon would suppress them a lot of times. And we had our designer then making small manipulations like moving the text or adding some elements until Amazon would take those pictures. And yeah, now they're fine, still they're live.
Okay, cool. Cool. I guess that covers secondary images as well. I wish I could show these. but the secondary image gallery is also super strong. From what I understand, you worked with an agency to create this. Is that right?
No, I personally did all the photo shoots here. So I was physically here. We were doing all the photo shoots for the product. I was observing them, and then we had the designer, work with those images. So yeah.
Any tips? So I guess agency isn't the right word to use, but you worked with a professional photographer. How did you go about finding? Was that someone who was already in your network, or any tips for someone who they want to take part in the shoot? They want to find a professional photographer locally. Any ideas there? How'd you find them?
Yeah, yeah. I think it should be pretty easy. I don't think you even need someone specifically with Amazon experience. Just look locally, maybe for someone with experience, like with product photography. So, like that's what we did. We found a photographer who wasn't familiar with Amazon, but who did photo shoots for many other products. So from our side, we just had to explain them about the product, about who is it for, and then kind of the photograph, they got all the ideas, they knew how to present this product. And also from our side, we provided some guidance, like best practices on Amazon photo shoots, some videos, even I think from inner circle videos. So kind of to also get the photographer some ideas what we need. And yeah, we had a lot of photos, a lot of materials.
Heck yeah. Okay, cool. So I talked a little bit about the main image matrix. The secondary image matrix is based off of, this was about 2 years ago. I had a VA. I gave them 100 different niches and I asked them to categorize all of these different images by type that they saw in these Amazon galleries. And what I found is that the vast majority, it was more than like 70% of the images that they saw fell into one of these 16 categories. And so you'll notice on the other slide, um, there's a lot of graphics that kind of fit this model. So a graphic specifically about safety, a graphic about applications, all the different ways that you can use this product. Single feature graphics, which is kind of talking about one single concept in an image. We've got lifestyle. And so what you're going to find if you go inside deep dive for your niche, you're going to find that in your niche, you're going to see the same type of image over and over and over and over again. So when you're coming up with ideas for what should go into your image gallery, you can take some inspiration from what is already happening there. What really stands out about this product is the quality of the images and the simplicity of the images is very, very strong. So it's not just about having a great concept or having the concepts rather that people are looking for before they're going to click add to cart, but it's also about doing it in a visually impressive way.
Yeah, if I can add just something quickly, you
Of
briefly
course.
mentioned it, but also thanks to the PICFU, we did research about our audience and what important for them when picking up the product. So all this info we placed in our content. So any answer, any potential question the buyer could have, they would find it in our content, and it would be very convincing. Because yeah, a lot of sellers, they slack on content, they don't listen to their audience, and that's why they don't convert.
Absolutely. And it's not just in the secondary images that they're they're bringing across they're bringing across all of these things that the shopper wants to know before they buy the product. It's also in the A plus content in the video. So the video, again, I can't show the video, but it is a really good looking video. If you're going to look at the basically top seller of any product in a niche and they have a professionally produced video, I think you can get some good inspiration of what your own video should look like. So a few notes about the video is that it's functional without audio. There's really good text callouts on the screen. It's in this case artistic shots. They're kind of like spinning around the product. They're like moving the product in the air. It's very visually impressive and then really simple text callouts. So even if I don't have the audio on, my brain's going to be able to digest what's going on. It's a professional quality video, ultra high definition, looks really clean. Do you have any stats? I don't know if you ever look at this. I know some products get a really high rate of views on the video, others don't. this is a very visual product. I'm curious if you've ever looked at any of those metrics, or do you think that it was smart, a good use of money to get the video? Would you recommend it to other sellers? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. And in our case, we needed to demonstrate the products, the different variations, the colors. The video was very professional, and we actually did it quite cheap because, again, though it wasn't an Amazon agency. Because I feel like every time you'll go to creatives Amazon agency, they'll just charge you double or triple what, like, again, the normal product photographer would charge. At least that's my experience. So yeah, actually, the video was done by a different group of people. The photographer who did the main photo shoot, he knew the video people, but those were separate people who specialized in the product video, in showing the product.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So that's the video. The last thing that we're going to cover on the content side is A plus content. And what I really like about the A plus content on this listing is, again, it looks really clear, looks really clean, very visually impressive, but it's very simple. So for the people that scroll all the way down to the bottom of the listing, you're going to find that it repeats some of the concepts that are in the secondary image gallery, but there's also some significant differences. So this is premium A plus content, a little bit more of the rich style of A plus content. Module 1 is talking about the brand. It shows some of the other products that they sell. So building a little bit of that authority that they don't just sell this one single product that you're seeing. It gives some authority there. Module 2 is a really strong header. And I'm guessing what one of the top things that a shopper would need to know before they add the product to the cart. Again, this is something that you eat. Is it safe? So they're reinforcing with a strong visual header, talking about the product, talking about the safety of the product. Module 3 is talking about ingredients. Now, modules 4, 5, and 7, I really like. This is the benefit of using the premium A plus content, is these are actually scrollable galleries. So when they're talking about how to use this product, how to apply this to food, you actually click through a carousel and it's showing you step 1, step 2, step 3, eliminating any kind of doubt when you buy this product that, hey, is this actually going to be easy to use? Is it straightforward to use? It really helps to overcome that barrier. We also have in module 5 applications. So you'll notice this from the secondary image matrix. Applications are like, you have a power bank, right? And you can use this power bank for hiking, or you can use it when you're traveling, or you can use it when you're commuting, whatever it might be. So applications is really helpful in this product because there's specific scenarios that a shopper is going to know. When they go and buy this product, they're going to know in their head already how they want to use it, right? And so the applications lets the shopper see, oh, this is what I have in mind. Oh, I'm seeing this here on the screen. And then they just scroll through until they see the application that they're looking for. These kind of applications graphics are going to really help the conversion rate. Module 6 is variations and then common mistakes with the product. So anything that might give you a negative review, the people that you want to detract from using the product or make sure they have a good expectation of how the product works, you're going to help to reduce returns. You're going to help to reduce negative reviews. And then module 7 was my favorite. I liked that this was all the way at the bottom of the listing. This was another scrollable gallery, but it was showing testimonials, reviews about the product. And this is fantastic because you make it all the way down to the bottom of the listing. You scroll through these and it's like, bam, 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 another satisfied customer, another satisfied customer, another satisfied customer. Now, typically, Dmytro, there's usually some question about, like, can you include reviews in an image gallery or in an A plus content? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so what we did is, I think we outlined the overall number of our reviews, because actually our brand we've been selling for a while and the niche was similar. We were kind of expanding with a new product in the same niche. So what we did is we took some reviews, like screenshots from our past products, which were again kind of in the same niche, and we made like a total number of all like customer feedback we ever got on Amazon and put it in our content. So it kind of gives a feeling of trust to shoppers, because we had probably hundreds of thousands of orders on Amazon and a lot of feedback from those, mostly positive.
Going to really help with conversions. And I think that's part of the reason this product performed so well after launch. So we already talked about this, the main and secondary image matrix. What I want to get into now, we talked about product development, we talked about SEO, we talked about content. Let's get into a little bit of the PPC. So I have some notes on the next slides. If most people don't have access to this yet, this is actually inside of Data Dive, and it's going to be live for everyone soon. But this is our PPC audit. So what you can actually do is upload just if you have a rank tracker going for the product, you can run a PPC report. All users, at least to start, this is going to be a free feature to start. Eventually, it's going to be paid, but it's a free feature. It'll analyze your PPC performance, and it gives you some really cool insights in a nice little dashboard like this. So it's showing you how your funnel is looking from impressions to clicks to units sold. You got your cost per click. You can see your click-through and conversion rate here, your ad spend, and your ad sales. Moving down a little bit further, it gives you an even more detailed view. I didn't take screenshots of all of this because, again, we can't share what the product is. I want to be clear, too, this is not a client product. This is actually Dmytro's own product. So in addition to running an agency, which he's very successful at, has a bunch of amazing case studies, he still sells his own product, which I think for a lot of agencies is actually very rare. And so this is giving us a breakdown of where our sales are coming from. If you scroll a little bit further down, I can't show it because it'll show the keywords. It'll actually give you some suggestions as to where you're not being aggressive enough, other keywords that you might want to consider. And I've only seen a handful of these PPC audits so far. But what I will say is in Dmytro's account, the suggestions were almost none. And it shouldn't be that surprising because him and his team are really good at running PPC. I think there's just not that much for him to work on, being totally honest. But I think if you're running your own PPC audit, more than likely there's going to be some suggestions for things that you can actually do. This part of the tool is our big focus for the rest of this year, is working on the PPC features. And this is going to get better and better over time of giving you intelligent, well thought out strategies that you can use to increase your PPC performance. Any thoughts here? I know on the next slide, we're going to get into the PPC strategy a little bit, but for some people, seeing a tacos that's this high, seeing an ACOS that's this high might make them a little bit nervous, but this product is still pretty new into the launch phase. Can you comment on that at all?
Yeah, so we launched the product late May, so it's still pretty early. I think we're going into the third month. And considering what Anthony said earlier, in July, we were very, very close to out of stock, because before our metrics were actually like improving. Our tacos was improving, ACOS was improving. Then that out of stock, unfortunately, put us back a little bit. So now we have to push PPC again. That's why all these metrics are growing again as we start PPC. Tacos, ACOS is growing, but eventually it should go down again. And I anticipate maybe into 4-5 months, it should be really profitable.
Do you personally have a threshold for your own products or for the agency? What's your cap? If you're launching a product, what's an acceptable tacos or ACOS that you're looking at when launching?
Yeah, it's individual for everyone. For this product, I mean, we had an idea that we can allow ourselves to push really aggressively. And if it would be a client's account, obviously we would discuss how far they are willing to go, because every niche is different as well. Depending on how competitive your niche, how hard you will need to push the ads in the beginning, especially. So in our case, we pushed the ads really hard. We had one keyword with 100K search volume, which we got number 4 organic position second week. So that was very aggressive. And we spent a lot of money on it. And obviously profit wasn't the focus. We could have been more like soft with it. Then probably it would take us a little bit more time to rank on those keywords. But our metrics wouldn't be so high as well. So it really depends on your situation. We had some cash, we could allow ourselves to do this. Like if you're starting or it's your second product, obviously you probably want to be more strict,
Makes sense. Okay. And I think my audio is still going. It looked like my camera in the back died. So we're going to keep going with this laptop camera and keep digging in here. So, a few things here. I was asking Dmytro to give a little bit of a breakdown of a little more detail. I know we can't really show too much detail here, but in terms of like, what did the PPC strategy look like? Because I know a lot of people are going to ask that. What did it look like at launch? I know it sounds like you were really aggressive in the beginning, and it sounds like you're still quite aggressive because you're working to improve the organic rank. But what can you say? I've got something, up here on the screen, right? We talked a little bit about this. Uh, 20 variations, huge number of campaigns, 500 campaigns to start. Pretty slow in the beginning, some impressions, clicks, and out of stock pretty much during Prime Day, and they're working to recover, right? So you got to spend money to get the organic ranks up. Anything else that you want to share about the PPC strategy?
Yeah, I think one important aspect, like for the launch, is the research. So what we did is before starting the PPC, using Data Dive and some other tools, we were able to uncover maybe 95% of all of our keywords, and we were able to determine how relevant they are. So those keywords we used in exact campaigns to push for the launch. So all the keywords, we had hundreds of keywords in our PPC campaigns for the launch, all relevant. Like we weren't doing any research campaigns. Everything was discovered. We were only pushing. So I think that's one factor. Probably a lot of people who familiar with seller systems teachings, they wouldn't do that. But what a lot of people do in the beginning, they start a lot of research campaigns out of phrase broad. So that's actually probably not the best because you can uncover all of your keywords even before launching the product. And yeah, that's gonna be a huge leverage because also those
So,
keywords you will use for SEO.
so no need to necessarily in the beginning do these exploratory campaigns because you can just use the data. Don't need to waste money seeing what's going to work. You already have some idea of what your relevant keywords are and just focus on those.
Exactly. We know what our top 10 priority keywords, meaning keywords that we really need to push because let's say they have the most search volume and we need to get the rank on them, you know. That's also kind of another factor to consider. Know your keywords volumes because that's gonna depend how much you're gonna be spending on those keywords. Like our main keyword, 100K search volume. As keyword spends pretty fast. I think the campaign just for that keyword has $200 a day budget, and almost every day it runs out. Then we have a whole bunch of other keywords that, obviously the volume is not that much, and you need to kind of understand also when to push, where to cut back. That's why it's important to know your keywords, how people are searching for your products, because also we have a lot of kind of semi-relative keywords, let's say, from other niches, and we can work with that, but they always have lower conversion rate. So they generate good sales, but the conversion rate is lower and ACOS will be higher. So we might not want to tank our product in the beginning by targeting those semi-related keywords too aggressively.
Interesting.
So
Okay. Well, look, everyone, I know we've got about 15 minutes or so left in office hours. This one might run a little bit over, but I think if you have questions about structuring PPC campaigns, we might be able to hang around for a few minutes extra and drop those questions into the chat, or at the end, we'll open it up for anyone who wants to raise their hand and ask a question like that. So we talked about product development. We talked about SEO. We talked about content. We talked a little bit about PPC. As a little bit of a bonus, the product was initially launched in the US, but also the product was launched in Canada as well a little bit more recently. So what you're seeing on here on the screen is a screenshot from the master keyword list overview. And you can see that the Canadian market, of course, it's a smaller search volume, smaller revenue, but still pretty meaningful. And so if you're finding success in one market, expanding internationally, especially from a logistical standpoint, North America, inside USA, Canada, it's maybe a little bit more manageable than some of the other programs. So just something to keep in mind there. Okay, so this is where we're wrapping up here. This is a screenshot from the PPC, from the data dive reports. Everyone already has access to this. And so you can see different things like market share, obviously starting in the beginning at nothing, really bumping up. The revenue is moving in a good direction. Already getting a lot of search volume in the, our top 10 keywords. Just an overall good trajectory of the brand. So we're going to wrap up here. We talked about our problem, we talked about the solution, and let's wrap up with impact. So impact is still a little bit early. You'll see I get into a little bit more detail in this in the analysis slides. But overall, what we saw here is starting off with the product that was brand new, no rank. Everything is going to be 101 plus to an average rank of 18 within the honeymoon period. And then what I'm going to show you on the next slide is even maintaining strong ranks and growing those ranks after running out of stock. Typically, running out of stock is something that will absolutely crush a brand. It can take all of the work that you've done and then it can completely throw it out the window. Luckily, in this scenario, the time of being out of stock was actually pretty small. We're going to walk through some of the strategies for making that happen. But you can see this is from Rank Radar, everything 101. And then within about a month of launching, we're seeing really high. These are like single digit organic ranks for some crazy big keywords. This is a 97,000 search term keyword, 22,000 search term keyword, a lot of single digit numbers. I think on the other slide, I'm going to go back for a second and show what the out of stock looked like. And maybe you can talk about this. I know this is a common question. We're launching the product, getting those really good green organic ranks here. This is the period of July when they're getting to the point of running out of stock and actually do run out of stock for a little bit of time. Dmytro, can you share a little bit? What strategies did you take? You knew you were running out of stock. Just give us the whole situation. How did you react? What was the impact? Just give me the rundown.
Yeah. So when we launched the product, we had 20 variations, and pretty quick we found out our hero product, which was carrying most of the volume, like maybe 70 to 80% of the sales. And obviously that product started running out the quickest, but also some other products. And we were approaching Prime Day. So what we did is we tried to in the beginning, we launched all standalone variations, not in single parent. So we launched PPC for every single product, uh, basically targeting the same keywords, and it was quite aggressive. Then once we started getting the wine reviews, we started merging the products. And once it was all in one variation, we focused all the main keywords for our hero product. So that one hero product, it got all the main keywords. The rest of the variations, they would get keywords like variation-specific keywords, let's say color, size. So once we started running out on stock for our hero, we tested switching like to our second best-selling product, like all the PPC. So kind of it would carry the whole family. Meanwhile, the main product is low on stock. But nevertheless, the metrics were declining, even like with switching to the second product. Then it was the Prime Day, and luckily we started getting back into that stock pretty soon. So we were like super close, maybe even out of stock for our main one. But meanwhile, Amazon was already processing the inventory.
I love it.
And yeah.
Okay. So I think we're just about done here. We're all the way back. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this, getting the average rank up. You can see even with the more recent, I kind of zoomed in at, this is a little bit blurry, but you can see even recently, as late as like July and August, starting to get back those organic ranks. Still a little bit more time to go there, but you just got to push, right? You run out of stock, you do your best to get that sales velocity back up. If you're delivering good conversions, if you're delivering clicks, like I said, if you have that sales velocity up and your listing is optimized, you're going to be able to get it back. It just might take some time. And so the quick analysis about this is roughly about 6 months. Dmytro was saying that they had been prepping for this launch, doing research, doing content, everything related to launching the product. Right now, it's only been about 90 days or so since the launch. This was about like mid to late May. Initial investment, I broke this down. It's like around, this is estimations, but about $15,000 in inventory, $4,000 on Vine, which a lot of people might look at and say, holy cow, that's a lot to spend on Vine. But you got 25 different variations, and he was able to get a ton of reviews very early on. $4,000 seems like a pretty reasonable amount to spend. I have like $2,000 to $3,000 in creative, and then on top of that, PPC. So about $19,000 to launch the product. The second PO was around the same, around $15,000 of inventory. Now, profitability should have initially been reached within about 90 days. Had they not run out of stock, they probably would be profitable already. But it's basically right about where we are right now. It's going to be profitable probably by, instead of month 3, maybe month 4, month 5 at the latest. And then once this thing gets up and rolling, you got to go in with the expectation that when you launch a product on Amazon, you're not going to be able to start taking money out of the business, going and buying yourself a Lamborghini, taking expensive vacations. I was blown away about this when I launched my first product. We had launched the product, we got the bestseller badge, and I was like, hell yeah. And I go to my business partner and he's like, great, now we need to take double that amount of money and buy twice as much inventory. This is a cash intensive game. It is a lot of growing and growing, especially in those first few years. You got to put it back in the business. But in the grand scheme of things, it seems like it's going to be worth it. They're already one of the top sellers in the niche, and it's only been a few months. We're estimating that the total revenue for this niche is about 200 to 250,000. That's what's possible. And then the estimated profit is probably going to be around 30%, which is around 75,000 USD monthly. Okay, this is where we're going to wrap up. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat, or you can raise your hand. I'm just going to go through a couple of data dive announcements. We've got about 10 minutes left in the scheduled call, but I don't think I have a hard stop after this. So if Dmytro can hang around for a few minutes, we'll see what we can get through. So first announcement is there is an in-person event. It's coming up September 5 to 6. This is Alibaba Co-Create. We were at this event last year. It was fantastic. This is an event put on by Alibaba. So you can actually meet some suppliers there. There's a really good lineup of speakers. We're teaching one workshop. We're speaking on stage. We're hosting a networking event, and we're hosting an offsite workshop as well. So you can use this QR code. I think there's some discounts. If you need Data Dive is going to get you, I think it's $200, and it gives you a ticket to the event, and it gives you 2 free hotel nights at Paris. The hotel, not Paris in France, but the Hotel Paris in Las Vegas. Great event if you can join it. We also have a new video on the channel. Some of these features that I was talking about, reports. I didn't cover Smart Niche Dive. I didn't cover Niche Compare. But if you want to know about the new features on Data Dive, we have a video. Now you can launch a product. You can start a dive, rather, not launch a product, but you can start a dive in under 5 minutes using Smart Niche. Scan the QR code or go to the YouTube channel to watch the video. And then we have 3 workshops coming up. This is going to be August 25th. This is actually this current week. We have a workshop in New Jersey. So anyone who's local, New York, New Jersey, maybe Pennsylvania, if you want to join here, August 25th, we have a workshop in person. You can scan the QR code to join that. And then last but not least, if you are not using Data Dive yet, please book a training call. We can give you a 1-month trial of our starter plan. We can do an onboarding, help you get your niches started, set up Rank Radar, everything we talked about today, building out a listing using Data Dive. We talked about that today. We can show you how to do that. Setting up rank tracking, getting reports running, getting your PPC audit running, connecting your PPC account to Data Dive. Scan the QR code, book a call, and we'll get you all set up. We also mentioned Inner Circle a lot. Inner Circle is our coaching program. It's an educational company. We have hundreds, I don't want to say hundreds of hours of content. We've got dozens and dozens of hours of content. We just hosted a masterclass last night. If you want to join, we can give you $500 off. If you want to talk to someone who's in Inner Circle, we don't have sales reps. We have Inner Circle members that get on calls with potential members. So if you want to get that Optimum Images masterclass that I talk about, it's all inside Inner Circle. So this is where we wrap up and open it up for Q&A. So let me pull up the chat. Hopefully we have some questions here. It looks like we've got 4 or 5. And then if there's any more questions, now is the time to drop them in the chat. Or if you want to raise your hand and ask a question like that, that'll work as well. So we got some love for Ukraine here. I love it. Very cool. Nick is asking, isn't that prohibited? And could you get banned if you manipulate reviews in such a way? Yeah, can you talk a little bit about Vine?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. I would advise this strategy at your own risk. Now, I know a lot of sellers who are using this strategy, big and small brands. So far, I think the worst that happened is some reviews got deleted and some sellers been getting the warning. So far, I don't know anything about people getting accounts deactivated. But yeah, I would definitely say that you have to decide for yourself if you want to take the risk of using this strategy. Because otherwise you can just get like what, five reviews maximum from Wines, or I think it's more now. But yeah, in our case, we had a competitive niche. So for us, this was the most legit, fastest way of getting good amount of reviews.
And I would think of it like this, right? There's review manipulation of going and paying for reviews and incentivizing reviews. It's a little bit different, I think, going through an Amazon sanctioned program where you're actually paying to get these reviews done. So just something to keep in mind, right? There's a spectrum in terms of black hat, white hat, and then everything in the middle, gray hat. This is probably among the more safe, but yeah, take it at your own risk. Nick is also asking, where do you find the PPC audit? So that is inside of Data Dive. It's on the left-hand side, down below reports. If you're not seeing it yet, don't worry. It's a small group. I think it's just Inner Circle members, and then a select group of people that were part of our beta group that are seeing it now. Right, from what I understand right now, we're getting very close to launching it for all access, all users. So as soon as it's live, there's going to be a big email blast. We're going to do probably a special office hours like we did for the 4 new features, and we'll walk everyone through it. If you're not seeing it, just be patient. I know they're just fixing some bugs there. We got a question from Karen or Karan. Do you have any inputs on launch price, running coupons, etc.?
Yeah, good question. So at first, I think we started like with our end goal price. And we used the strategy of getting like a couple of orders, and then we reduced our price significantly. So we got the price crossed. So it showed like we had like a big discount. So that's what we did. In terms of I think there were some like other coupons or something like buy two, get one free, something like that. And with some time, I think we got access for this product to the Lightning deals. So we also started using them. But when we went out of stock, because the conversion rate dropped, so you are not eligible for the Lightning deals anymore. So now we have to push it only like with the PPC again. Yeah, but Lightning deals, discounting the price. I mean, I would say ideally in the beginning, you start with the lowest price possible, because that's just going to give you the most advantage in the beginning when you don't have much reviews and not much customer trust. So the lower you can start, the better, and then slowly work your way up. We would raise, like once we got some significant amount of reviews, some sales, maybe after second, third week, we started testing increasing the price a bit by bit. And eventually we reached our end goal price, but we did it in incremental steps to see how everything will react. Because if you raise the price, your PPC may go down, your conversion rate may go down. So yeah, that's how we did it.
Okay, solid. Rhonda's asking, when will this be on the YouTube channel? I'm going to send this over to our video editor as soon as we're off this call. And so usually it's pretty quick. I'd say 24, 48 hours at max. Everyone who's joining here live gets the best experience because we got the Q&A. Yeah, Vincent, sorry about that. He's saying the event, it has to be when he's not in New Jersey, but we'll be hosting more events. And yeah, I'm here in New York, so I'm trying to think of, we'll get some more events. Okay, we got a question from Chris. How did you determine how many units of each variation to order for the launch? Sounds like you calculated very accurately. Do you agree with that? Or yeah, walk us through.
Yeah. Well, I think we did a pretty good job, but we did undershoot a little bit because we went out of stock, but maybe because we didn't considering the Prime Day. Um, we couldn't tell exactly the numbers. We could like take an informed guess, if you can say so. We use Data Dive, we use some other softwares. Plus, again, we've been selling our brand for a while in a similar niche. So we also had an idea of what our competitors are doing, what variations work for them. So based on this research, we kind of did an estimate of what we might need. So we took a guess what could be our hero products and ordered a little bit more stock for them. And then like for the rest of variations, like we ordered pretty much a little bit less of equal amount.
Got it. Okay. It looks like this is the last question here. So if there's any more, feel free to drop them in the chat. This works well because we're right on time. I don't know if this is a specific question here. It says, great session. I'm looking forward for more resources on how to actually utilize Data Dive software. I watched the video with Mina and Brandon, but there's still features I'm unsure how to use. The software is very powerful, but there's many levers to pull, and it's a bit difficult as a beginner. Be patient with yourself. Data Dive is a big piece of software. Imagine if you would use Excel for the first time, none of it's going to make any sense. You just got to invest the time to learn. You're already doing a great job for coming to office hours, but definitely go and subscribe to and check out the YouTube channel. You'll see that inside the YouTube channel, we have 3 different playlists, one for validate, one for optimize, one for launch, and one for optimize. I would think about where you are in terms of selling. I'm guessing a lot of people are in optimize. So go and check out the videos on the YouTube playlist. We also have a breakdown. So there's videos called FAQ, which are very short to the point. Like, how do I start a dive? How do I find gaps in my MKL? How do I rewrite my listing? And then we have the quick start guide videos break down each individual part of the tool. So we have a standalone video on master keyword list. We have a standalone video on listing builder, standalone video on rank radar. So go and check those out. And yeah, just keep coming back for office hours. We have 3 sessions a week, one for North America, one for Europe, and then one for Asia Pacific. So if you want to come and see this whole presentation again, you can join tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Berlin, or just come. A lot of people will just join. They'll see if there's anything new that they're getting, and then they'll wait till the Q&A and ask their questions. So 3 sessions a week. And then let's see, we got one from Mike here. Will there still be office hours kind of things this time each week? Yep, so we do 3 office hours a week. 1 p.m. on Tuesday is New York, Eastern Standard Time. On Wednesday is 1 p.m. in Berlin, which is CEST time zone. And then 1 p.m. on Thursday is Asia Pacific. That's 1 p.m. in Sydney. So we do the same topic all week for office hours. You can come to any sessions that you want. You don't necessarily need to be a Data Dive user to join. And then we put everything up on the YouTube channel. We're going to be doing these real world case studies at least for the next 6 weeks. If I can get content for the rest of the year, then I will. I just wanted to start with something really good. All of them are going to be really good, but I feel really happy about this. And then the last thing that I want to wrap up with, because this seems like these are all of our questions. this is a little pit for Dmytro, and I want to know how people can reach out to you after. But Dmytro is a member of our inner circle. That's our private community. I've known Dmytro for years, and if you are considering like working with an agency where you know, hey, I'm really good at one thing in running my business, but I'm not good at everything, or I need someone to help manage, scale my campaigns, whatever it might be, consider reaching out because as you can see here, Dmytro, there's a lot of agencies out there. There's a lot of freelancers out there. You can go and hire your internal teams. If you're going to hire an agency, you might as well work with one that really understands what they're doing, and having someone who not only knows how to optimize Amazon listings, but actually is a seller themselves, successfully launches their own product. I can't recommend Dmytro enough. Dmytro, what's a way that if people want to get in contact with you or learn more about SalesBite, how should they do that? You might be muted.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, thanks, Anthony. You can find me anywhere, Dmytro Nemiianov, like you see my name here, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Maybe the guys will leave the links under the video or whatever. Yeah, I'm in the inner circle. So if you have any questions or you need help with PPC, hit me up. We don't really work with brand new sellers. We work with more established sellers, and when we see we can really improve the situation with a PPC.
Awesome. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's been really cool to get to dive in. And thanks to everyone who joined live. And for anyone catching this on the replay, we hope to see you in the next one. See you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, wait, we might have one more. Okay, never mind. This is just a, do you have any large corporate users of Data Dive? Yeah, Vincent, I'm gonna just screenshot. I see this is a direct message, but I'll send you a message. I'll follow up with you personally. And yeah, let's get your wife's company set up. We've got a lot of big enterprise users at Data Dive. We can get it all set up. All right, thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.